AEW Dynamite came to you live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada in the Rogers Arena. The camera cuts in, the fireworks are going, the pyro's going nuts, the crowd is going crazy, and then the camera cuts to the back and it is Will Ospreay duking it out with Jon Moxley in the back. We see the rest of the Death Riders come in and take out Will Ospreay, and who comes to save Will Ospreay? It is none other than the rest of the United Empire. Now, I only highlight this segment because it is important. This sets up the main event at the end of the night. Hello everybody, my name is John Tagle, and I'm here to give you the 5 most important segments that you must see from AEW Dynamite live from Edmonton. So the night started out with a 6-man tag. This match is against the Don Callis family, Andrade El Idolo, Mark Davis, and Konosuke Takeshita versus Darby Allin, Bandito, and Jack Perry. Now, the Don Callis family does get the win here. The match kind of showcases the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita's dominance, and he just absolutely ripped through the competition and destroyed everybody. You know, Andrade did his thing. He actually got the pin here for the win for the Don Callis family. And then after that, all chaos broke loose. Massive brawl, because everybody's hating on the Don Callis family these days. So we got the Young Bucks showing up to come to this party. Here they come running down to the ring, and then we had the Rascals show up and do their flips and tricks, because Myron Reed is going to be taking on Kazuchika Okada for his championship Saturday at Collision. Highlight is Queen Aminata versus Willow Nightingale. The match was a hard-hitting affair, with Queen Aminata getting the better of Willow Nightingale and taking her to her absolute limit throughout the match, but Willow Nightingale proved to be too strong for Queen Aminata. Now, Hikaru Shida was watching from the stands for most of this match, and here is the finish, with Willow Nightingale hitting her powerbomb and getting the 1, 2, 3. Next up, we have Chris Jericho coming to address the AEW fans. Jericho, after making his grand entrance, comes to the ring, talks about his year-long hiatus and the void that he felt during that time away from the ring. Now, he's come back, he's got his contract in hand, and he wants to re-sign with AEW to do whatever it takes to get back to the top. If he's got to open the show, if he's got to be a mid-carder, if he's got to be a curtain jerker, but he wants to come in and help the company that he helped build from day one. Then, Ricochet and the Demand come to the ring. Ricochet mostly did all the talking here for the Demand, and he starts talking all this garbage, saying that, you know, Chris Jericho should have stayed away. He, you know, has no business being here. He's old, and he should go back on tour with Fozzy and chill on his cruise. Now, Chris Jericho rebuttals, and he says something he hasn't said in 10 years. He clicks his pen and says, Ricochet, I've got a clause in this contract saying I can pick any opponent that I want for Dynasty this Sunday. And he says, you just made the list. Writes down Ricochet's name as his opponent for this Sunday at Dynasty. So this Sunday, it's official. Ricochet versus Chris Jericho. Honorable mention to this promo right here, because this is where we find that Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita are going to be teaming up against the Young Bucks this Sunday at Dynasty. So, as I said earlier from the opening segment of the show, this is where we get the Canada Chaos match, and this is the United Empire making their entrance. Here are the Death Riders making their entrance. So, here is Will Ospreay getting the pin on Jon Moxley ahead of their match for the Continental Championship this Sunday at Dynasty. This was a crazy match that was just all over the place. It was basically a 8-man tag street fight. I wouldn't even call it a tag match. It was just a 8-man street fight. They brawled all over the arena. It was absolutely wild. Worth watching if you've got the time. Roughly 15 minutes long, I would have to guess, but this is definitely worth taking a look. Last but certainly not least, we had a war of words between MJF and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega did start out in the ring on his own, and he talked about his journey back to the top from diverticulitis and all of the other setbacks that he had on his way to getting this world title shot against MJF. And MJF does come out to the ring eventually, and he basically tells him, you can do the talking, but you can't do the wrestling. And it's not him calling himself the god of pro wrestling, it's everybody else doing it. He has all the matches, he has the 5-star matches to prove it. You know, we all know what he did in New Japan. We all know what he did in Ring of Honor. MJF kind of countered all of that. He kind of, you know, saying that he's the best, he can get the job done. He's beaten Kenny Omega before, which he did a few years back. And then Kenny comes back and says, Max, you think you're the devil, but I've survived hell just to get back into this ring. He finished by promising that Dynasty he would reclaim the throne and step back into being the world champion where he belongs. belongs. Edmonton chanting for Kenny Omega at the end there, and actually Kenny steals the Dynamite Diamond ring. And that's how we go off air, is with Kenny Omega holding his pinky high with that Dynamite Diamond ring. I want to thank you all for joining me for this absolutely action-packed episode of Dynamite here today. I gave you the 5 most interesting segments from the show. Now, leave a comment below. What was your favorite segment in tonight's episode of Dynamite? What matches are you most excited for at Dynasty? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.